If I keep going like that, I won't have to do anything else. I'll just spend the whole show.
Make this into a guitar show.
That's right. That's what I could do, yeah. So hello, everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Guitar Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar, and they call me on the phone and say, hey, man, what's your show about anyway? I say, it's about an hour. And about guitars, guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So if you want to call the show, and the number will appear on your screen from time to time, ask a question about the care and feeding of your guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, how to play the guitar. You want to talk about a related topic like the guitarron, cithara, guitarra, sitar, chitole, lutes, ouds, vihuelas, banjos, balaicas, bazookas, bajos, sextos, banjolins, tiples, cavaquinhos, lutes, ouds, vihuelas. So I said already. I mean, anything with strings on it. Pipe organs, piccolos, clarinets and clavinets, trombones and trombomarinas, cornetos, cornets, drum horns, timbales, timpanis or tubas, marimbas, well, anyway, anything that makes music, politics, world events, your own personality problems, that's fine. We're here for you, but keep it clean. This is a family program. So we might announce that Bob, our prodigal Las Vegas correspondent, has returned to us. Sure.
Having not corresponded well this year, but
Yeah. Well, we wondered what happened to you, man. We figured something terrible must have happened, but.
no, it was just a marriage thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, say no more then, David.
No, the marriage is fine. I just had to be somewhere with the wife.
I see. Okay, that's fine. Good. I'm glad you've been married for a while now. That's right.
Yeah, in a week or two it'll be 46 years.
46. Well, it's a pretty good start. Yeah. I guess it took.
Yeah, it's lasted so far.
Yeah. Okay. So far, so good. All right. That's good. But well, if you are in Las Vegas or something, or somewhere out west, and you accidentally drive off a cliff or something like that, you be sure to call the show and let us know what happened
Right.
to you. If if you get killed or something,
Yeah.
or locked up and they allow you one call. Anyway,
Tell us about this guitar you have tonight.
Well, this is an Ibanez Tallman, which I got at a very reasonable price, used. I don't remember when it was. I was referring. It was the night of the faculty recital at Co. Probably January, maybe February. And I was on my way out of town. I guess I had to get something. I forget what it was. But guitar shop, and there was some guy playing it, and he wasn't doing a very good job. I thought that would make a dandy little jazz guitar, if you just treat it a little differently. Don't just try to bang on it. So of course I said, let's start the process, because you see, you can rent it to own, but what that means is you basically pay it off slowly. So it wasn't that much, but
So is this American, made somewhere else?
it's I think it's probably made in China. It's Ibanez is a Japanese company, and they I would say that in years gone by, you wouldn't have caught me dead in a ditch with an Ibanez, because what they did originally was to make very accurate copies of American guitars, particularly Gibsons, and build them very cleanly and very nicely, and sell them very cheaply, maybe at a loss, so they could corner the market.
Right.
They eventually got some sort of lawsuit against them because they were just making exact copies of things. So they're doing a good job. And I found that, it's like plagiarism or something like
Right.
that. But this is their own design. But it's an international company. They mostly, the name Ibanez, because they would give it a Spanish name, because, Americans want to buy Spanish
Right.
guitars, because Spanish invented the guitar, so you want a guitar with a Spanish name. So it was all kind of a scam, I wouldn't have bought a Ibanez a long time ago. And even though when I had a guitar shop a long time ago, I had a Gibson ES 335 and a pretty much exact replica of it by Ibanez. But it was a bad year for Ibanez, or a bad year for Gibson, and a good year for Ibanez. So the Ibanez is actually probably a better guitar. So anyway, but as far as my attitude now toward Ibanez and all that sort of stuff being built overseas all the time, I could quote the poet Bob Dylan. I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. So yeah, this is actually an Ibanez design, but and I don't know where it was designed.
But it's a well-made guitar no matter where.
It's a well-made guitar. It's used, a little dinged up, and not very expensive, and sounds really good, and it's easy to play. I was thinking about it. I'm doing a bunch of stuff right. I'm working on my sound. I'm working on a bunch of things. Truth be told, I hate when people say truth be told. I just did that. Like you're lying the rest of the time. But no, I have my next gig that I want to sound really good at is I want to play acoustic guitar. It's actually my mother's memorial service, because my mother passed away recently. And there's going to be a memorial service for her out the Terry Trueblood Park, off of Gilbert Street, the new park that has a lake in it, and there's a large shelter building. And my mother was a teacher at Willowan for many, many years, and she taught French. And so I'm going to play two pieces at the beginning and the end of this memorial service. It starts at 2 o'clock Friday afternoon for my mother, and I think anybody can attend. If it was it's been announced in the paper, but she, many students went through her program. She taught for many years, and at Willowan, and also at the university, and at Cornell College, and in other states before we moved to Iowa a long time ago. So anyway, so I'm going to play acoustic guitar. But I've been struggling with getting the right amplification and the right sound and so forth. So as I struggle with that, I've been having a little trouble with my thumb sometimes, and this guitar is no trouble whatsoever to play. Doesn't hurt at all. So I decided just to bring this and do this, because I'm working on a lot of stuff at home, moving amplifiers around and plugging things in. I had a pickup that I owned already installed in a guitar. I just got that yesterday. Anyway, a long story. So this is an Ibanez Tallman, 2 humbuckers, semi-hollow body. Not as heavy as a lot of semi-hollows are. There's a chunk of wood going through the top, underneath the top here to stabilize it, and it's not, I don't think it's hollow all the way around. Well, maybe it is. Yeah, all I see is a chunk of wood when I look in here, but so it's clean and decent. Sorry. I somewhat injudiciously brought two pedals. They're slightly wider than other pedals, and they barely fit on my thing here, my little footstool. And so when I try to push the button, I guess I need those little pointy-toed shoes or something like that. I'm having trouble, pushing the buttons. But I guess I'm okay now. Yeah. I'm trying the new TC Electronics Ditto looper. The looper Ditto X2. And what it is it's the same as the other Ditto looper that I've been using before, but it's a little bit bigger. It has a couple of effects that I'm probably never going to use on it. And it has 2 buttons to push instead of 1. And the reason I got the other one was because I like the 1 button to push. But I decided to try this one too. Try this one out. And it's just got out of the box last night. And so the thing I get to do though with this stuff is I have on the left side I have my ditto looper, which would be your right side if you're looking at me straight on, and that's a looper, so I can put down a loop right and improvise over on top of it. On the right I have this Digitech RP90, which is a really cheap multi-effects processor, but it has some good sounds on it, and it's all paid off, and has been for several years at least. So what I can do is I can start a loop with this preset number 23, which is kind of clean and little reverb and delay, and then do something crunchy or whatever, have some completely different sound to solo on top of it. Now normally I would solo, I just use the one sound, I have maybe a little reverb and delay on the amp, and I play more of a jazz guitar, but this I can do more stuff with. So if I want let me do something here, let me just do a simple loop. So there's my loop. So I do some, turn it down a little bit. Yeah. I managed to push the right button. I need smaller feet.
So bring me up to date. Where and when does one see you live these days?
Well, normally you would see me every Friday, Saturday night at the Tuscan Moon. This Friday night I'll be having dinner after my mother's memorial service, so I will not be there. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I will be there. It's the following week. It's the following week. I'm getting my weeks mixed up. That's all. Sorry. No, I will be in full view this weekend. Friday, Saturday night at the Tuscan Moon in beautiful downtown Kelowna, Iowa. Be there. Make reservations. Hang on a second. And so I start there. I'm supposed to start at 6, so I'll probably start about 6:30 because I'm a guitar player, and I'm always late. So Tuscan Moon, downtown Kelowna, 6:30, Friday, Saturday nights. Have a nice romantic dinner. Make reservations, okay? And then on Sunday, I'm going to church now, man. You know, I got sucked into going to playing the guitar, right-hand man for a minister at the Journey Church in Coralville. And it's kind of interesting place.
That's up toward Oakdale, right?
Yeah, right off the road, Oakdale Boulevard, right by the prison classification place. Pretty easy to find. You just go up 965, past the Coral Ridge Mall extravaganza.
What some people call Old 218.
Yeah, Old 218. And then, when you get to Oakdale Boulevard, take a left. Pretty easy to find. Not too far from the Walgreens. You take a left. There's a turning lane and traffic light.
No place is very far from a Walgreens.
That's right, and it's true. And it's right there, on your right, in the middle of an edifice. And so services start 10:30. And it's a very interesting place. A lot of people of different backgrounds, and it's very welcoming of all kinds of people. Some sort of new agey kind of people, gays and lesbians. So they're, very, very accepting of all kinds of people. Now, me, I'm not.
All kinds of people.
Yeah, I'm not my own kind of person. I'm not religious necessarily.
Yeah.
I grew up in a Catholic church, and so they accept me, I guess. And I don't tend to. Actually, I don't talk about my personal beliefs. I just play the guitar, and I try to make things, set a nice mood for it. And it's very, very nice. They're kind people, very kind people. So I'm there on Sunday mornings, 10:30. I'm there. I usually get there about 10. Warm up a little bit. They're having a study group. They're studying The Untethered Soul or something, some book. So I'll be there. I got a couple other things coming up too, but not this week. That's right.
We'll have something to discuss next week then.
Yeah. There'll be I got some sort of a outdoor shindig coming up. I think May 10th. I'm doing a thing. At the Grant Wood, the park out there, I guess. They painted a mural, so I'm doing a mural dedication gig, which I think will be kind of interesting. My challenge is there may be no electricity, I'll be outdoors, so I have to think of something smart.
Hold the megaphone in front of your guitar.
Well, sure. I have a couple of battery-powered amps. Possibly I could stack them, or put them side by side, a splitter on it. Maybe I could. I thought about getting one of those power things, for when your power goes out, so your computer doesn't power down. I think they have I don't know how good a capacity they have, but I don't think I draw that many amps, depending what kind of system I use. Because the little pedals I use frequently only, use 9-volt batteries, and then the amplifiers don't necessarily take that much juice.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much power the amp's running, I suppose. But
yeah, not that much though. I don't think. I mean, I have different amps, but some of them are pretty loud for pretty low power.
Yeah, if it's made to run on, what kind of batteries do you put in it?
Well, the ones I have the two amps. Actually, I can just put batteries in those. But I'm thinking about getting one of those power supply things that you use to plug your computer in case the power.
Yeah, I understand you. Uninterruptible power supply.
Yeah. I thought I saw.
But what kind of batteries are we replacing? Some C cells or?
Oh no, I wouldn't. I would just put C cells and double A's. I have one that uses C cells and one that uses double A's. I would just use it like a regular amp, though. That's what I'm saying. If I took that with me, I'd use a
Yeah,
regular
yeah,
amp.
well, the one that uses double A's, I'm sure that uninterruptible power supply
Yeah.
would run that for a long time.
Well, I could run that for several hours on double A's.
Yeah,
But I don't know if it would have enough to, do much outside.
yeah,
The other one that runs with C cells is a little bit has more punch. So my I have three options. I think, as I see it. Well, four if you count playing the banjo and just being real loud acoustically. But one is to use my battery powered amps, maybe two of them, or maybe just see how far I can get with one, or the one with C cells. But maybe use two of those. The other one is to get a little power supply that we're plugging computers into,
right.
and using like a regular amp, but one of the ones that draws fewer watts. Yeah. And the third is to just scope around the neighborhood with a really long extension cord, which is something I've done mostly, because usually there's a power supply, just some power somewhere.
Or get an inverter and plug it into your car.
Yeah, I suppose if I can park near where I'm playing. I put the inverter, plug it in my car, leave the car running, and have a really long extension cord from the parking lot. And then I suddenly see my amp going and say, somebody just stole my car. Yeah. One of the safety features of my car is it's impossible to lock your keys in it.
Ah,
So if you wanted to, have like spare keys to open it up with, but have it locked while it's running, so you can, you can't do that. So anyway.
our van won't let you lock it manually if the keys are in it, but if you have the other remote, you can lock it with the key in it.
I see. Huh. I don't know if my car would do that. Maybe it will. I don't know.
You can experiment and see.
I suppose. Borrow my wife's keys or something. I think the best bet is to just provide me with a fourth or perhaps fifth option. But best one is just to go scope the place out and get an extension cord and anyway. I never really experimented with this. No, this is number 14 in the presets on this thing. Kind of a. All right. Then trying out this looper here. It has a half speed button or a switch. See if I can. The exciting thing is I go down there. I'm going to get down there and I'm going to flip the switch without falling on my face. Here we go. Down I go, and it's going to be half speed. I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to try it. So if I loop something that goes like, let me go back to my favorite number 20, about 23. Yeah. So if I make a loop that goes like, that's half speed. Anyway. Yeah. So, half speed. That was amusing for almost a minute.
Now will it do double speed like the Chipmunks?
Yeah, I don't think it has that effect, but that'd be kind of fun. When I was a kid, some other kid had a Chipmunks record, and he discovered that it was a 45 if you played it at 33. It's just a bunch of guys singing kind of slow.
Actually, it's one guy.
One guy? Oh. Huh. I thought I heard harmony.
It's
Overdubbed?
overdubbed.
Oh. I guess I could overdub in those days.
Ross Bagdasarian called himself David Seville on the record.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, I hope he had a really wonderful career.
I made that up. Actually, the Chipmunks had a secret identity.
Oh,
You've probably noticed you never saw them and the Bee Gees at the same time.
Ah, yeah, that's funny. Never saw them in the same place. Huh. That's pretty good. I like that. That's kind of a dated joke, though. It'd be
Yeah.
probably hard to get it across to a younger person. Hey, Jesse, you're relatively young.
Do you know who the Bee Gees are?
Yeah.
Or were?
And the Chipmunks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you're an educated man, so okay. All right.
The younger generation has some culture.
That's right. You can tell by my voice, I'm a disco singer, I ain't got no choice. I'm sorry. I should have said that.
When you were talking before about slowing things down, but I mean, there are a lot of complicated musical things you could do with that. It just brought to my mind some of the old Renaissance and even later contrapuntal stuff where, that was one of the ways you could vary things. You could, the cantus firmus, the line that everybody was writing notes against, you could slow that down to make the note values twice or 4 times as long, and then you do a lot more stuff over it. So it's all in keeping with all sorts of wonderful things we could do.
Well, one could certainly come up with some very clever stuff, and maybe come up with a little tune where you play it, and then you play it at half speed, but you play it at full speed on top of it, and have them go together well. Somebody who's clever with stuff like that, but maybe who's good at knitting and things like that too, would be able to come up with something. I had the same function on my boomerang that I almost never used. That was my main looper for years. So, kind of interesting.
But anyway, I thought those couple of minutes that you were doing that were kind of fun. I enjoyed listening to it.
Well, it was a bit of fun. I basically make it up as I go along, which is the funny thing about this church gig I have, is that if I go in with a preconceived notion of what I'm going to do, I probably wouldn't fail. I probably would fail, but I just play whatever comes to my mind. And people were talking about something, I forget what it was about. That Pastor Chuck, they were told a sermon or whatever, and they were talking about like holding on to guilt and things like that, and how this is not productive and so forth. And there's a big long thing, and there's a bit of discussion about it. Then it turns to me to play something. So I start playing Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. And it was like the perfect thing.
Right.
And then there was discussion about, basically being who you are, and or being enough. Being yourself is enough, and so forth. And some woman was saying that she was going to have I am enough or something tattooed onto her body somewhere. And then and then somebody said, I am what I am. I thought,
I'm Popeye the Sailor
I know,
Man.
and that's what I said. I figure if I do stuff like that and then show up with that Lamborghini yellow flying V, which I've done, guitar, I'll get fired at some point. But so far, I haven't. So because I could use more sleep on Sunday mornings because I play Friday, Saturday nights. And,
Well, it sounds like the music all fits.
yeah, well, I just do.
And as long as the pastor doesn't disagree.
Well, yeah, whatever. Well, whatever happens to happen. I'm philosophical about these things, but I'm yeah. It's a house gig now, so.
But that's the first thought of anybody our generation when you hear I am what I am.
Yeah, of course. Popeye the Sailor. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. I'm Popeye the Sailor. I am what I am, and that's all that I am.
Yep.
So, yeah. You can learn a lot from Popeye. I guess. But there's always a thing with Bluto,
You're strong to the finish when you eat your spinach.
Finish.
Yeah, finish.
Spinach, because I eats me spinach. There was one that I saw. I think it was one where they had the whole song in it, but the title was Eats Me Spinach.
Yeah.
And it was the name of it. And it was an old one from the 30s, in black and white.
Yeah.
And I think it was, I'm not sure if that's the one. There's one where he was, Olive Oil wants him, all right. Olive Oil wants Popeye to walk her dog, Dorg. And the Dorg is a little frou-frou doggy with bows
Right.
in the hair. And of course there's Bluto with a great big bulldog.
Yeah.
And there's a big fight that ensues, but Popeye gets a hold of some spinach and eats some and gives some to the dog. and they actually, I think the bulldog turns into a bunch of sausages or something like that. And it's because the little dog punches him so hard that he turns into a hot dog stand.
Hot dogs, right.
Yeah. So I think so. Maybe they all run away or something. I don't know, but and then they're all they got black eyes and stuff, and they're pals. Popeye and this little frou-frou dog. They go back to Olive Oil, all beat up, but black eyes, but they
But they bonded.
they bonded because they fought the Bluto. But And he's Ludo's always trying to abduct Olive Oil, which is
Yeah.
kind of. See what happens if modern feminism gets a hold of that storyline, but. And she was said to be the ugliest woman in Hollywood, but she was elastic. She'd be holding on, and her arms would stretch.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, I'm cutting this point.
Well, maybe we'll find out who our audience is. Does anybody want to talk about Popeye?
Yeah, she flashed that number up on the screen.
Oh, do we even have? We don't have phone set up today, do we?
I don't know, there's a phone over there.
Yeah.
If we need it, we can go get it.
Yeah. If it rings, we'll do something.
Well, people don't really call that much anymore,
Yeah.
and I thought nobody's watching, but I as soon as I just go places that I don't normally go, and people come up to me all the time and say they saw my show. So I don't know. Maybe I should do something. Maybe I should improve the quality or something. What if I make a nice little folksy loop with preset number 23? Number 24. Number 23, they sound very similar. And there's 25. So, this didn't fall off here. So one idea I had was one song I'm going to play for this event, my this memorial service is "The Water Is Wide," which is well, it can be a breakup song, but it's much more than that. It has a lot of different lyrics. Some of them are like, my love affair didn't work out, and I'm all bummed out. And some of them are like, I will love you forever. When all these impossible things happen, like cockle shells turn into silver bells, and all these other things that will never happen. That's when I'll lose my love for thee. And there's also been, it's a hymn, it's a bunch of other things. It's an old English song, which I don't know if I heard Joan Baez cover it once a long time ago, but so I'm going to play this thing. But one idea I had was to see if I could just play it through and then just do some sort of improvisation on top. So I'm going to try that now. I actually did it in a restaurant, but everybody was talking and eating and stuff, and I couldn't hear it very well. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to play "The Water Is Wide" once through as a solo, and then I'm with the melody and everything, and then I'm going to try to solo on top of it. See what's the worst thing that can happen? Don't answer that. Didn't sound too bad.
No,
I think I'll do that.
that wasn't the worst that could happen.
No. Well, see, the thing is about when we try something musically, and people say, "Oh no, I don't think I can do that." I say, "Well, what's the worst thing that can happen? You play the wrong note, then you stop it. Now, if you're skateboarding and you try to do something interesting, like go down a really steep staircase, and then you hit, or kind of go down the railing, and you hit something,
Right.
and you're actually, traveling at 15 miles an hour or more, and out there in the middle of no protection, and there's some sort of corner of a piece of concrete, heading right for your face, you could easily require thousands of dollars worth of dental work.
And become a star on YouTube.
That's right. You could have your 15 seconds of fame on YouTube. Epic face plants or something, some compilation video. But actually, the thing is, there's so much. It's like grains of sand on the beach. There's so many face plants on YouTube that it wouldn't really be worth it. But musically, though, if you make a mistake, you just like stop it or say, "Ooh, I like that," 'cause tritone. Isn't that funky? See? Played the wrong note. I corrected myself, and now everything's all right. The police didn't come, didn't shorten our lives. So, sorry.
Well, Mac Davis said, as long as you're making music, you can't do nobody no harm.
I suppose. It's fine. There is music, of course, which is painful to listen to.
Yeah.
And I've heard quite a bit of it, actually. And there's also, music which is used to incite people to do things that perhaps they shouldn't.
Yeah.
If you look at the Casablanca when they're all singing, and they start singing some German, Nazi song, and then everybody else starts singing La Marseillaise, which is interesting. The Marseillaise, the French national anthem, is about a battle they had with the Germans in the 19th century, which I think they might have lost. I mean, they lost the war, but I think it's the Franco-Prussian War, which the French lost, of course, which caused them to develop a bad attitude, and it caused the Germans to unify into one much more powerful country, because there used to be a bunch of little principalities and stuff.
Well, Europe was all that way. Every town was a kingdom.
Yeah, well, a long time ago, yeah, but in the 19th century, there were all these little countries and stuff,
Yeah.
counties and principalities and things like that, and duchies, and have a king of a fairly small country, and then they started, nation building.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, we saw the crazy King Ludwig of Bavaria
oh yeah,
tried to duplicate Versailles and drove Bavaria bankrupt doing it. So Prussia absorbed Bavaria.
That's how it goes. Yeah. My advice is learn Chinese. But, sorry.
Yes, since we seem to be rapidly going bankrupt and they own everything now.
Yeah, that's right. The thing about I was going to say that earlier about the Chinese guitars and stuff is that I had two Guild guitars a long time ago with my two they're both huge jumbo bodies. One was big blonde thing, and one was a big spruce top with mother of pearl. Both had mother of pearl inlay up and down the neck with 6 and 12 string acoustic guitars, jumbo body, made in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And at one way or another, they both left me, and one got wet when I flew back from California in the air on the airline, and the neck kind of bent. It could never be fixed. The 12 string, they could never fix it. And then the other one, I sold it because I needed the money to keep my little guitar shop open. My guitar shop's long gone, and I still don't have that.
And so's the Guild.
Yeah. So recently, and a Guild was bought by Fender, which basically killed it. But then they started doing more Guild stuff and having them built in the Tacoma Guitar Factory in Tacoma, Washington, which they also bought the Tacoma guitars and killed it. But Anyway, so they started reissuing these ones and building them rather well, apparently very well, in California. And they're like $2,700. But then, and I would look at these things, pictures of them, thinking, I would like to get those two guitars back, replace them someday. And then I looked at them and stuff like that, and they don't make that many of them, and they're not promoting them at all, apparently. But then all of a sudden I saw these little tiny pictures come up when I checked the weather online, weather.com or whatever, the little picture, and I recognized the guitar right away, the shape. And I said, that's a Guild F50, or F512 or something. And I looked at it, sure enough, it was. Discounted price of $995. So how is that possible?
That's yours that was warped?
No, it was made in China. They're making them in China. And I thought, something about that, I got nothing against Chinese people.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that there's another guitar company that makes guitars over there that one of their big selling points is that they treat the workers humanely. I don't think there's any question about that in the Fender factory in California, that they treat them humanely.
Right.
So that's a selling point. How about the other ones?
Yeah.
What kind of conditions did these people who built this work under?
Yeah.
So China executes more people in 1 year than the whole rest of the world combined. Anyway, a lot more.
Well, I say they've got nets around the Apple factory to stop the workers from committing suicide.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know if that's true. I've heard that maybe that's not true, but
It might be an internet rumor, but that is the internet rumor.
All right, it's over. I'll see you next week.